this is a big like fear. I don't know if I've ever talked about this before, but like I get super anxious riding in front of people.
All of the things we're taking, 'cause we are young and we're ashamed, sends us to perfect places.
Hey guys, welcome back to Vlogmas. This is a super fun video and I really recommend watching it all the way through, especially if you get anxious or you struggle with your mood, if you're stressed out, honestly anything like that. I promise you, something in here, if you give it a chance, will help you. So on the agenda today, I just want to introduce you guys to the grounding technique or self-soothing, whatever you want to call it. If you look up what a sensory kit is, they're all similar, and so I'm going to talk through the importance of that. The second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to plan out my riding goals for 2020, and I'm also going to talk through how to achieve riding goals, because there is psychology behind it. I'm also going to go out and pamper Splash and do some self-care for Splash. Hey guys, welcome back to Vlogmas. Today is Thursday the 19th of December and it's just past 1:30. So Vlogmas is really fun to do. And I've really been enjoying it. However, it does get quite intense, and also like having a switched on persona is quite hard to maintain, and because of that I've been feeling a little bit burnt out. So that's a segue into today's video. Basically, I want to organize the stuff in my life a little bit better, especially because we're coming into the new year. Christmas is also a really stressful time for a lot of people, and although Christmas is made out to be a super happy time of the year, for a lot of people, including myself, it's also quite a hard time of the year for a multitude of different reasons. So I really just wanted to make this video to share some tips on how to get through the tough time, and also to let you know that you're not alone and there are other people that are struggling with different things. If you ever need, I am always just a message away and you can flick me a message. I love talking to you guys. That was a lot of rambling. So the other week I went to Kmart. I needed to pick up a few things, as well as Christmas presents, but also some stuff for moi. First up, I just got a few notebooks, a lovely greeny olivey one, and then a nice blush pink one, and then kind of like a pastel pink folder. And my justification for these was, previously I was keeping all of my YouTube work, my writing, my uni, and just like my personal life in my bullet journal. Yes, I don't want to admit that I have one because that makes me really basic and white, but I am. And I'm not denying it, and it's really fun. But I was keeping it all in this one, and it's great, but when you have an anxious brain that gets really stressed out, it's good to separate the different things in your life. My bullet journal is now my diary, like your calendar diary type thing, and then these two separate some of the different aspects of my life that I need to be better organized with. So this olivey green one is my YouTube and horse kind of stuff, because horses and YouTube fit into one category considering this channel is an equestrian channel. And then this one here is just like personal stuff if I need to write some random stuff down. And then obviously a folder also organizes like all the paper that's just like lying around my room. That was a really long ramble. You guys know how I do psychology. If you don't know, I've just finished my degree when I majored in psychology. That's kind of all I need to say, but I'm pretty sure a lot of you already know that because I say it way too much. But there's this theory where when you're super overwhelmed, you can use a technique to help ground yourself and calm yourself down. For the longest time, especially when I was a teenager, I was always like, oh, that's so stupid, it sounds all like hippie and like airy-fairy and whatever, but it's not. It actually works, and it's scientifically proven to work. It's called like the grounding method or grounding techniques or self-soothing, and basically what you can do is you can make up a kit. You can just get things that help relax you through your 5 different senses. So for me, one of the things is the lavender oil. Also, candles are amazing, and bath bombs. I have a candle that I keep in the bathroom. They don't have to be expensive. If you're in New Zealand, there are bath bombs that you can get from Mitre 10 that are like $5 or $6, and they're really good. Another thing I have in my like sensory self-soothing kit is a face mask. This is just a cheap one from Kmart. I think it was like $2. I have no idea if it's going to be any good or not, and again, because of like the smell of it, and also just like putting it on your face, because that can help relax you, and it's good for your skincare. Other things I like to keep in mind are just like cozy blankets that are really soft, and my room's just like a safe space. And so because I spend a lot of time in here with like editing or studying for uni, I have redone my room to make it a space where I find it quite relaxing. So I have lots of plants, I have nice white walls, which I find quite soothing because it's quite calm and neutral, and then I have accents of green. And another thing I find great is at night, if you're super stressed, the best thing is to like come in, close your curtains and put fairy lights on, and the fairy lights in my room just calm me down so much. So that's why I have lots of fairy lights in my room, because again, with a sensory sort of thing, and I like my fairy lights to be kind of like a warm colour. The last thing I'm going to talk about quickly for the self-soothing kit is different sort of activities you can do to get your mind off whatever is stressing you out. So for me, one of my favorite games is Skip-Bo. This is just a card game. You can literally play it with anyone, honestly any card games. And another thing I recommend is kind of like puzzles to do. So for me, I have a Sudoku book. I got this from Kmart as well. I think this was like $4 or $5. Really gets my mind off whatever the problem is, and just lets me kind of have a mental break, if you will. And other things that I love doing are like word finds, but honestly you can do anything. Like you could get obviously games on your phone, but the problem with having them on my phone is if I get notifications, and also because part of my self-soothing routine is to spend time off my phone, because social media stresses me out so much. There's a limit to how much time you should be spending on there based on your own mental health and mental well-being. Please, if you do get stressed or anxious or whatever, please do try some of these. You can look it up on like the internet and look up like examples of self-soothing kits or like the grounding techniques, and it's super helpful. Honestly, I cannot recommend it to you enough. If you're looking for an app on your phone, I 120% recommend Headspace. It just looks like this, and when you log into it, there is the option to pay for it, and paying for it is quite expensive, but there are free options, and I just use the free options. I've used it for over a year, and it's super helpful, especially like when you're trying to go to sleep and your mind just like won't shut up. It really helps get you to sleep, get you to relax. It teaches you breathing techniques, which are super important if you're nervous, especially if you're competing or if you're riding your horse. And also the dude who talks you through the stuff has the best voice. I love his voice. So my riding goals for 2020. In my bullet journal, I have it set out for the week. I write down obviously like a to-do list, and then I have like weekly goals on the side. So those weekly goals I keep pretty basic, so just like upload a video, ride a certain amount of times, if I have like volunteering or work that I need to do. However, there's like this culture on YouTube with some YouTubers to have like a super productive day, be hustling, achieving like all this stuff. And it's great, awesome, like we can all have productive days, but a productive day 24/7 isn't realistic, and it's not actually good for your mental health. So with setting goals, there is a whole heap of scientific evidence behind it, and so much research into how to set goals and how to achieve those goals. For one of my courses this year in psychology, health psychology, and this textbook pretty much just talks about why people fail at setting their goals and the theories and models that have been shown to be productive and successful in helping people achieve those goals. Literally, there are heaps of chapters in this book just talking about changing behavior. With goals, you want to keep them simple and achievable. One thing I notice with a lot of channels on YouTube is when they're setting up their week or setting goals, they're super rigid. Or if your goals are super specific and you don't have a pathway to get to your goal, you're most likely not going to achieve that goal. And another thing is, you can be super invested into wanting to achieve this goal, but if you don't put the steps there to help guide you to reaching that goal, you're not going to get there. The gap between the goal and where you start, this gap in some models in health psychology is called the intervention behaviour gap. And so what you want to do is you want to put steps in place that will help you have a path to achieving your goal. One recommended way that you can achieve this is through having your attentions stable. So for example, you might really want to wake up at 7 AM. Say you do wake up at 7 AM the next day, you might lie there and be like, nah, I'm not waking up, I'm going back to sleep. That there is a gap. So you want your attentions to be stabilized over time. And a second way to help you achieve your goals in theories and models is called the implementation intentions, which sounds really like ugh, but basically it's just making sure that you have a way that you can activate the steps to achieve your goal. And that in there kind of entails having ways to solve the issues that are stopping you from getting to your goals. So for example, say you want to eat really healthy, but when you go to the cupboard there's like heaps of super yummy snacks that are like chips or biscuits but that aren't that good for you. An implementation intention would be to have fruit really accessible, smack bang in your face when you walk into the kitchen, or like a little note on the fridge or whatever, like that sort of stuff to help keep you on track. Another way is if there's a situation that is hard for you to work through, me now is going to write down what that situation is and what those struggles are, and then I'm going to think of some realistic ways to help keep me on track during that situation. So say I'm going to a family gathering and that sort of setting makes me really anxious, but I really want to stay there because I love my family. I would write down the things that I find anxious and then think of ways that I can help myself cope with those different situations. So say it's talking to people, I would think ahead of topics that I might want to talk about, or I might even tell my parents like, oh, this sort of stuff makes me really anxious, can we stay for X amount of time and you guys check in with me to see how I'm feeling, and if I'm stressed out then we call it a day. So for riding, I would absolutely love to write down one of my goals to be compete at Horse of the Year. And if I just wrote that down, I'm gonna struggle throughout the year because I'm not gonna know how to achieve that goal. And at the end of the year, when I look back and reflect, I'm gonna go, I didn't achieve that, I suck. So I'm gonna make my goals realistic and quite simple, and I'm going to try and incorporate my values into them. So say 2020 riding goals. One goal that comes to mind instantly is to just enjoy riding. To me, it means if I'm stressed or I'm feeling pressured, I won't bring a camera out, or I won't bring my phone out and record anything, and I won't post anything on social media. Because to me, the bond I have with Splash and the enjoyment I have riding Splash is way more important than likes or comments or followers on Instagram or YouTube. And a lot of the time, if I get super stressed or anxious, I will stop myself from riding because of the fear of not being good enough, and that not being good enough stems from how I think other people are going to perceive me on social media. So I'm kind of removing that element and putting steps in place to help with that. Another goal I have is to ride regularly, and again I am going to specify that, and I'm gonna say probably aim for 3 times a week, because I think that's a pretty achievable goal. And if you're able to achieve a goal, it increases like your confidence within yourself to keep achieving goals and to achieve goals that might be a step up or a step harder. Another way that I'm going to set specific steps to help me achieve this goal is in my bullet journal. I'm going to write down, so a weekly goal, say 3 times a week, and then look at the weather and plan out when I could fit riding in. However, I'm not going to go in and be like, ride at 2 PM on blah 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 for X amount of minutes, and then on this day ride for this amount of time, because as we all know, horses are unpredictable. And the amount of times I've gone out to the paddock and been like, I'm gonna ride Splash today, and the weather has been absolutely terrible, or riding Splash is not going to be productive because either I'm in a bad mood or he's in a bad mood, or injuries. And also, riding with friends is also a great way to motivate you and keep the fun and enjoyment in with riding. This is a big like fear. I don't know if I've ever talked about this before, but like I get super anxious riding in front of people because my mum owns a riding school. If I ride with a lesson or if I ride when there's clients around, because I don't want to mess up, and if I mess up I feel like a failure because I'm mum's daughter. So for me, I'd also kind of want to think about times when I could ride when it would just be me and Splash. I'm going to do the rest of my goals off camera, and then after this we'll go out and see Splashy Hands because he is the idol of this channel. We're all in it just to see him, so. I've now come outside and I'm just standing in Splash's stable. I'm going to make him a nice yummy feed. I have a big carrot that I'm also going to give him, and I'm just going to pamper him, make him feel loved, give him nice scratches and just spend time with him. This sort of stuff is really good for if you're wanting to improve your bond with your horse and just gain a bit more trust with them on the ground. One thing I just want to mention is I have changed because this is kind of like a self-care type of organisation video. I myself have gotten changed into comfy clothes. I've got some nice comfy oversized clothes on, and I have taken out my contacts and put my glasses on because glasses, although they might not look as good, they're easier on my eyes than my contacts are because my contacts dry out quite quickly. I am just making sure that I'm doing stuff that I actually want to do and that actually makes me feel nice and relaxed, which oversized clothes do. Splashy's just got his hard feed, which has all his minerals and what he needs to help with his head flicking, and I'm just gonna go in. I'm gonna use this brush here to give him a bit of like a massage, scratch his favorite scratchy spots and trim him up a bit. Look at all this coat coming off. Giving them a good groom and a good massage is also a great time to check how their overall health is doing. So like checking if they're sore anywhere through their muscles, especially over their back and over their hind end and through their whole and neck. And also just checking for any cuts or scrapes or swelling. It's also great for horses to come in and to come into the stables or wherever you tack them up and just relax, especially for young horses. It helps associate this place with not just work but just kind of relaxing enjoyment type of time in here. It's great for them not to always feel expected to be working. The dog just caught a baby rabbit. So sad that they're such bad pests.